going on, everyone? You're all very welcome to the Gaelic Gridiron podcast, coming to you after a wild wildcard weekend. So much to break down and talk about and get the guys' thoughts on, as well as several massive coaching moves as well. We are coming to you on the Tuesday after wildcard weekend. Jimmy English, Connor Tate, and Stephen Kearns. And some congratulations are in order to the both of you. Connor on signing with his new team in Finland, who I cannot pronounce. Connor, can you do the honors there for me?
Yeah, I just signed with the Lochia Crusaders. Very excited.
Yeah, I'm glad you pronounced that and not me. Well, it's been a long time coming, Connor. You've been waiting a long time for that contract, so massive congratulations, and can't wait to see you in action when you get over there and start practicing and start playing games. And welcome back. You might have noticed he was absent the past couple of weeks, Mr. Stephen Kearns. On the arrival of your new daughter, you are not sleep deprived, Twist, but you're hanging in there.
Oh, listen, it's all hand at this stage. You get used
Child
to
number 2.
You get used to it, and that's it. No more.
No more. Well, hopefully, Claire. Hopefully, the missus isn't listening. She might have other ideas.
No, she's signed off on it.
Massive news for the podcast as well. Officially getting confirmation during the week that we are heading to San Francisco to cover Super Bowl 60 in a few weeks' time. Official media partner, officially recognized by the NFL. So huge news there for us. So make sure you keep an eye on our social media and follow along there for updates. But before we get to that point, we have to talk about the first round of the playoffs. Wild wildcard weekend coming to a close in the wee hours of this morning. The Steelers falling on a scoreline of 30-6 to the Houston Texans. And Twist, I'm kind of glad you're back for this podcast because I didn't want to have to rag on the Steelers on my own. I'm going to hand it over to you to do the honors now that we've always spoken truthfully about this. There's no censorship on this podcast. We're allowed to speak our minds. Look, full disclosure now, I did not stay up for the game because I'm in a new job and I have to be punctual for the start at least. But I did get up at 6 o'clock this morning to watch the game in 40. And look, what can you say apart from the fact that was probably one of the worst games the Steelers have played all season? And I thought to myself beforehand, whatever team shows up on this day, that's going to be the definition of the Steelers. Either the best version will show up or the worst version will show up. The worst version of the offense showed up, and it was absolutely dire.
So I watched the first half of the game and just stopped watching because I knew where it was going based on how the offense was producing. Defense was being the defense. Joey Porter Jr., was locked down. Was weirdly snubbed for the Pro Bowl and weirdly snubbed for all pro, first and second team votes. Cam Hayward and TJ doing their thing. The entire defensive line in general, out there causing chaos. But the offense just wasn't there. DK Metcalf couldn't catch a cold. Pat Freiermuth was ignored by Arthur Smith.
He's been ignored all season. That's one of the biggest head scratchers for me is that Pat Freiermuth, I think in the last 4 games, has had 3 or 4 targets and as many catches. It boggles the mind.
I was against Aaron Rodgers from day one joining the team, and I still am, and I still stand by that. Yeah, he's got more AFC North division titles than the Cleveland Browns franchise now, but it's still old man Rodgers. He's not performing well. He has flashes. He just doesn't have it. And yeah, he got us to the playoffs. He got us to the wild card. But once again, we're one and done in the playoffs. We now have I don't know what you call it an honor, but the disgrace of being the first NFL franchise to lose 5 in a row by double-digit points in the playoffs. First team to do it. Not a great thing to have in the record books. We'll get to coaching about Steelers later, and we're talking about all the coaches, but there's been fallout from this. I don't know, it's just I've been very apathetic about the team all season because of Aaron Rodgers, because I don't like him in the back half of his career. I never liked him as that point, but the playoff, this wildcard game just really hammered home that my disinterest in this season for the Steelers was warranted.
Connor, to Twist's point about the offense being like, let's not beat around the bush. The offense cost us that game. 2 field goals all game, despite multiple opportunities and splash plays in the defense. We forced. I believe Justin Fields had something like 5 fumbles. Steelers recovered 2. Say again.
CJ Stroud.
Yeah,
CJ Stroud. I don't know if Justin Fields. It's been a long day. CJ Stroud had 5 fumbles. The Steelers capitalized on 2 of them, including an interception, 3 total turnovers, only managing to score on 1. And that's just not a winning recipe for any offense.
Aaron Rodgers is a sensational NFL quarterback, and he's going into the Hall of Fame. However, you get a pretty good idea of how a game is going to go from the first drive. And we got the typical Aaron Rodgers slow motion shot when he sailed that first third down out over the right-hand sideline. And Twist could have gone to bed then. You could have stayed up and gone to bed then because you knew how it was going to go. As soon as you see that slow-mo shot, you're like, okay, this isn't going to be a good one. Buckle up. And that's exactly what happened. And then you pair that with the best defense in the NFL. And the Houston's defense are not getting enough credit, man. It's a sensational unit across all 3. You know, the line, the backers, the safeties, the corner, but it's just there's no weakness in that defense. They're sensational, and I think Drake May is going to be in for a real challenge next week. And Pittsburgh came up against a buzzsaw in the Houston defense. Simple as that. Fumble 5 times and still cruise to a playoff victory. It says it all. That shouldn't be possible.
Especially when, to be fair, the defense had a fantastic game. Jack Sawyer had a great game. Brandon Eccles, the interception. They absolutely confounded CJ Stroud until the offense got moving, and Woody Marks ran all over the defense towards the end of the game and into the fourth quarter. I think the turning point for me, and I think it was at that point watching the game. I think it must have been 6:30 this morning when Rodgers was sacked and fumbled, and the ball was ran back for a Houston touchdown. At that point, I was like, "This is beyond the point of any return here. We're done. We're cooked. We're going 0-7 in the playoffs and consecutive playoff appearances. No playoff wins since 2017. So it was just a completely damning performance and twist. I mean, you said it's been just kind of uninspiring and met all season for the Steelers. It's really kind of hard to see where they go from here.
But look at it this way. When I don't go, and the first thing I do when we win the division title is go buy division title championship merch, I don't care about the team this year. You've seen my merch collection. If we win the title, I buy the hat. I don't buy the t-shirts because they're terrible. I always buy the hat. This year I was like, you know what? No, I don't want to remember this year because it's been a very meh year. The team hasn't stood out. We went out and acquired Metcalf. We acquired Jonnu Smith. Once we acquired Jonnu Smith, for whatever reason, I've already mentioned, Pat Freiermuth was pushed to the side. Even with Darnell Washington being out with a broken forearm, Muth was ignored. He is the number 1 tight end on the team.
Better receiver by miles than Jonnu Smith as well.
Yeah. It's just the team didn't have an identity on offense. It developed one later in the season with Kenneth Gainwell and Jalen Warren being that 1-2 punch. And that is the old school Steelers football that they should have stuck with. But as Connor says, Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback. He is going to the Hall of Fame. But when he's having an off day, that's it. You might as well just pack up and go home. They should have leaned more on Warren and Gainwell. But again, Houston's the number 1 defense, the outranked Steelers in offense.
The Texans defense, Connor, your dad must have been delighted. They were swarming to the ball. They were shutting down the run. They were getting to Aaron Rodgers. You could see he was under duress. You could see his frustration. I don't know how many times he was caught on camera dropping F-bombs last night.
Look, if Stroud can keep the ball off the turf, Houston can go all the way. Yeah. Genuinely. You just need decent. It doesn't have to be elite. Just solid quarterback play. Houston can go all the way. I don't see any team scoring more than 20 points on Houston all the way through.
Especially if their defense keeps playing at that kind of high level, shutting down the run, shutting down the quarterback.
Patriots played the Chargers. We knew the Chargers weren't going to win, but they have a good defense, and the Patriots didn't exactly light it up against them. So you look at that team, and you're like, are they going to score more than 20 points against Houston? Probably not. And then you get to the AFC Championship, and it's like, well, Denver aren't great if they make it.
No.
And if it's Buffalo that makes it, it's going to be in Houston. As the 5 seed, they're going to be hosting it. And Josh Allen, great as he is, never plays well against Houston. He's had fits the last 2 times he's come up against them. So I don't see anyone scoring more than 20 points. That's the benchmark for Stroud. If you can do that, they're going to be playing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's a good segue into the Patriots-Chargers game.
Well, before we move on, I just want to. We're done talking about Pittsburgh. We've taken up more than enough time about Pittsburgh, and I apologize to any other fans who are listening who aren't Steelers fans. This could be our last chance to discuss the Steelers this season. If we don't have any more, we won't have any more references to the Steelers because they're out now in the playoffs. Connor, as a quarterback, and Twist, you can weigh in here as well. Where do the Steelers go from here on see, as if he's not going to weigh in on this one? Connor, where do the Steelers go from here? You know, fresh start in Pittsburgh. Tomlin is out, and we'll touch on that. We'll touch on that in detail in a little while. Aaron Rodgers is more than likely now not going to come back for the Steelers because Tomlin's not there. He's not going to want, and the fact that his last pass as an NFL quarterback could potentially be a pick six to send the Steelers out of the playoffs. What did the Steelers do a quarterback now? Did they draft? Did they go free agency? What are you thinking?
Oh man, I have absolutely no idea where they got. I think they try and get a vet for now. You probably draft a guy as well to sit behind him, but you got to go and get a savvy vet. Mac Jones comes to mind. Potentially Kirk Cousins comes to mind. But yeah, I think you got to go and get a guy that knows his way around the NFL.
Is Will Howard still an option, Twist? He's been sitting there behind arguably the greatest quarterback, one of the greatest quarterbacks. He has to have picked up some sort of savvy about playing quarterback. I mean, has he shown enough in his brief time to kind of to say, yeah, he could be our future starting quarterback in Pittsburgh?
So this is where I'm going the opposite of Connor. I'm going, you got to bite the bullet. Like, Tomlin's gone. We'll talk about that in a bit. You now have to clear house, get rid of Arthur Smith, get rid of Terrell Austin, leave Danny Chewing on the sideline. He's the special teams coach. Leave him there. But you got to get rid of the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, head coach is gone. Tear it down to the studs. Make this a proper rebuild. We've been stuck in this purgatory of 19 seasons of just enough to be stuck.
The standard is the standard.
To be stuck just enough in like 19, 20, 21st, 22nd, 23rd pick in the draft. We haven't had a top 10 draft pick in decades. So quarterback like in the draft is off the table. Will you go for a veteran? It's always smart to get a veteran, bring him in. But in my opinion, you drafted Will Howard fairly high last year. You've got nothing to lose. Give him the reins to start the season next year. Go full rebuild. See what like depth his treads have. Like not just preseason, against an actual like where it counts games. Throw him in against a divisional opponent, to start the season. If we start the season against a divisional rival, which is very rare. But throw him in first 4 games of the season. See what tread he has in those tires. See where his future might bring us. And then work your way back. We're probably going to go basement of the AFC North next year. And I have no issue with that because that's the only way we get a top 10 draft pick unless you want to sell the farm and trade up. And to be honest, looking at every team in the league right now in the top 10, none of them are going to want to trade with Pittsburgh. They all have their own sets and targets set. So I say, give the ball to Will Howard and see what he's got.
There you go. Give the ball to Will Howard and see what happens. Okay, moving swiftly on from Pittsburgh. I want to go back before we talk about the Chargers and the Patriots. I don't think that was very much of it. I obviously didn't watch it again. I didn't stay up, but I think there's bigger storylines to talk about. None more so than the Bears coming back from I don't know how many points down to top the Green Bay Packers 31-27 in one of the first wildcard games of the weekend. This was absolute cinema. I mean, watching the highlights back, Twist, the next day, Caleb Williams looked like he was trying to lose the game with interceptions, two interceptions. He had that big miss on third down. And then bit by bit, the Bears just chip it back and win in an absolute thriller. And the Packers kind of choking, really, and throwing the game away.
There's a couple of things to look at this as a whole. First of all, the oldest rivalry in NFL history. Strangely, you may or may not have heard it this week, they've only met 3 times in the playoffs. And after this win, the Bears are now 2-1 in the playoffs against the Packers. The last time the Bears beat the Packers in the playoffs before this weekend was 1941, the week after Pearl Harbor. They beat the Packers in the playoffs. After that, the Packers beat them in 2010, and now they've beat them. Caleb Williams, rocky start. I'm going to quote a very controversial figure, Vince McMahon. Caleb Williams had intestinal fortitude. He came back in the fourth quarter. The Bears put up 25 points in the fourth quarter to shut the Packers down. The Packers could have bled that clock. In the fourth quarter, one of their final drives before the Bears came back, they threw it 3 times. They could have ran that clock out. They could have walked away in Soldier Field, ruined the Bears' chances once again. Brandon McManus, I'm surprised if he survives. Like Connor brought up the point a couple of weeks ago, it's nigh on impossible to kick a 50-plus field goal in Soldier Field in the open end.
Yeah.
The Packers tried it multiple times, failed each time.
They weren't just misses; they were bad misses.
Shanks. And like the ice cold, the conditions affecting the distance of the ball, the wind, like everything that Connor mentioned a couple weeks ago. It's like he's spoken into existence for Brandon McManus against this Bears team.
Sorry.
Matt LaFleur, he needs to sit down and listen, when you're up this much, don't throw the ball. Run that clock out. You have a good running back core there. Grind it out. Go low school. I don't know what he was thinking. Caleb Williams came back and he grated himself some cheese.
Connor, Caleb Williams finding the clutch gene in the second half. I mean, 2 really, really key plays for me. I mean, and in the flow of the game was that 4th down conversion to Rome Odunze, and then the touchdown pass to DJ Moore. That was a turning point really in that game. I think at that point you knew the Packers were cooked. I mean, it's just a really incredible game from Caleb Williams and the Bears overall.
NFL teams have identities tied to them. The Pittsburgh Steelers have their standard. The Chargers are good, but then they never do anything in the playoffs. The Green Bay Packers' identity this year has been to throw away games. And the Chicago Bears' identity has been to come back majorly at the end of games. And that is exactly what happened. The Packers have surrendered 6 points in the first half of all 3 games combined against Chicago this year. They surrendered 68 points in the third and fourth quarters and overtime. So it went to script. It went absolutely to script. I'm surprised Matt LaFleur is still in Green Bay, if I'm completely honest. I think that's a sackable offense to be up 21-3 in the playoffs and to not see it out, especially with the way they've played this season. But it went to script. And I just don't know if I guess it is possibly sustainable for Chicago. You feel like at some point the bubble is going to burst and somebody's going to see out a game against them. But for now, it's about the Bears. And I'm just surprised that LaFleur kept his job. But what a victory for Caleb Williams, and he's been outstanding.
I don't think the Bears are going to have as much luck against the Rams, but the Rams played a close game against the Panthers, and what was the first game on the Saturday of Wildcard weekend. And you really have to feel for the entire kind of Panthers organization for what they went through this season, sneaking into the playoffs at the behest of a tiebreaker, and then coming up against the Rams, who found their form and really kind of. I mean, I think the way the Rams played against the Panthers for me is the testament is a sign of a true playoff team who even in a challenging game can find ways to win. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens between the Bears and the Rams in the divisional round.
I'm seeing just before we move on to the Bears, some parallels between the Bears and the Steelers who won Super Bowl XL. Because the Steelers who won Super Bowl XL, all those games were chippy, were close. We were down. We went up against buzzsaw teams that should have buried us. Like that year, the Bengals should have buried us. An injury saved us. The Colts should have buried us. The shoestring tackle and the missed field goal saved us. We put Peyton Manning away. And then the Broncos should have buried us, and we snuck past them. The Bears have the ability to do that. Caleb Williams has the ability to win games. He showed it against the Packers. He got rattled, but he didn't get shook. And that's the difference. He got rattled at the start, and he got his integrity back, and he kept going. Yeah, you can't really hope that he can keep playing like that, but I think the Bears have a chance to upset the Rams next week and possibly even make it to the NFC Championship at this point, if not the Super Bowl.
The Bears and Rams is going to come down to quarterback play. It's going to be what version of each quarterback shows up. I mean, Caleb Williams overcame the rocky start, found his composure, started making plays, started finding his targets. Matt Stafford has to do the same thing. He's still in that kind of MVP mindset or in that MVP kind of conversation. He has to make big plays. He has to play turnover-free football. And it really is going to be a proper QB duel in that divisional round, I think.
It will be, but Caleb has to start faster.
Yeah.
There has to be 2 scores put up in the first half at least. You got to keep pace with this Rams team. You can't fall too far behind this Rams team. I don't think. We'll see.
Well, the same flip side, the Rams can't do what they done against the Panthers unless, like, the Panthers, like, basically almost eliminate them.
But they don't match up well. I know Carolina's an 8-9 football team, but certain teams don't match up well against certain teams.
I know.
The Rams don't match up well against Carolina because they got big 6'3" receivers on the outside, and the Rams that's not something that the Rams like to face with the way they've built their defense. So it's just one of those ones. There's one of those matchups where they just don't match up that well against them, and they did well to get out of there with the win in the end.
So
go on, Twist. Any final thoughts before we move on?
No, I was going to say to move on. I was going to say this is it for the Bills. Josh Allen has to win a Super Bowl this year. Like, looking at the remaining AFC quarterbacks, like, he has to win it this year. Like,
this is their window. This is their window right here, right now. Otherwise, it's done.
Yeah, you see, so like I was like, the Lions have a couple of seasons before close, and I said it's officially closed this year. Josh Allen doesn't have a couple of seasons; he has this playoff berth, and that's it.
And looking at the remaining AFC teams as well. I mean, out of whoever who is left, you have the Broncos, you have the Patriots, and you have the Bills. Out of those, who has the most playoff experience? Who's the most complete quarterback? Drake May is a second year. Bo Nix is a second year. I mean, Josh Allen he's the old man in this group. He's the grizzly veteran. He's been here, done that. Always kind of fallen at the final hurdle, be they divisional rounds or championship games against the Chiefs. Like, this is his moment right now to take his opportunity and win a Super Bowl. Otherwise, forget about it. You may as well just retire and go off to your new stadium because you ain't winning the Super Bowl.
Normally, as the 1 seed, you would expect to get a nice matchup in the divisional round. I think that's the worst possible matchup for the Broncos, to be honest. The motivation Josh Allen must have now is off the charts.
Especially with the way that the game went against the Jaguars. I mean, the Jaguars were legitimate contenders, and it was a slugfest between these two quarterbacks. I mean, Josh Allen was battered, bruised. I mean, at one point...
He never comes out of the game, and he has that starting streak of I don't know how many games now where they brought him in for the last game of the season just to take the one ceremonial snap to keep that alive. So I mean, the guy is iron tough. He is tough. That supposedly the ankle, the knee, the finger, the hand, it's all hurting. Yeah, but he's still slinging it. So I don't know. He is built different. It's phenomenal.
He is. I mean, like, that Bills defense could have lost it for them the way the Jags are running that football.
Mm.
And it all came down to, they're like, the greatest tush push in history. The Jags thought a whistle was blown. You could see them all looking around, and that's why you got
that was a very strange play because everyone knew it was coming. We all knew that Josh Allen was, especially after there was an incident on the first attempt, and it was called back or wasn't allowed for whatever reason. The entire world knew they were going to run the exact same play again, and Josh Allen was going to keep the ball and get into the end zone.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about the long tush push for like 5-10 yards.
Mm.
Like, if you go back and watch that, the Jags defense, they stop him initially, and someone imagined a whistle because they all stopped thinking forward progress, and that's where you got the 10 plus yards. And then the tush push for the touchdown, that was the Jags letting him score to keep as much time on the clock as possible to give Trevor Lawrence, the best chance possible. And
that was the right move.
That was the right move. But then he met the number one pass defense on the very first snap, the next play.
Yeah, I mean, Trevor Lawrence played a really, really good game, but you have to, like, those 2 interceptions were very costly because you gave the Bills an opportunity to score early on in the game, and then on your potentially game-winning drive, you throw an interception, or at the very least setting it up to score a field goal and send it to overtime.
Yep.
It's game, set, and match Bills.
Fine margins, Jimmy, as the playoffs, and you win or you go home.
Exactly. So, yeah, this is it Josh Allen has the experience in the playoffs. He knows what it's like to lose. That hunger to win has to outweigh everything. If he doesn't win the Bills the Super Bowl this year, it doesn't matter what he does after it. It's all going to come back to, well, the year when there was no real competition,
Yeah.
he couldn't win it. Now, that's obviously a bad take because, I mean, every team's real competition, but you will get beat writers who will say Drake May is only second year, Bo Nix is only second year, Josh Allen, as Jimmy said, is the old man. So he has no real competition in terms of experience and stuff. So he should skid into the playoffs, no problem, and the Super Bowl and win it. That's going to hang over his head, and he knows it. So he better have that hunger. He better put that inside him, and he better run Buffalo to the Super Bowl. And he should leave San Francisco with the Lombardi, or else that's going to be hanging over him for the rest of his career.
Looking to the future, Connor, and the way that the playoffs could look in years to come, you have the Chiefs now have kind of been dethroned to a certain extent because of the way the way the past couple of seasons has gone. Travis Kelce's future status is up in the air. We're not going to hear anything about that until early in the next league year. The Jacksonville Jaguars looked like they belong, especially at the back half of the season when they went on that run and they got into the playoffs. Trevor Lawrence is for real. He's finally coming into his own under Liam Cohen's system. They have some serious talent there at all the positions in offense. Parker Washington, just so many weapons on offense and a fantastic defense as well. You would imagine that the Jaguars, if they can keep this momentum going and build on the future, they will be a contender in the AFC for seasons to come as well.
Yes. However, that's a tough loss for Jacksonville because they would have felt...
It's a tough loss for Trevor Lawrence because that interception was the game.
And it's that's going to linger for a while now. It's a long off season. Jacksonville will have felt like if they got through Buffalo, they could have matched up against anyone and gone all the way, genuinely, and they really could have. And it said that it's a first round exit at home. You never want to lose as a 3 seed in your home game against a wildcard team. It leaves a bitter taste. So is there going to be a fall off now? We saw Detroit. We thought they were the bee's knees last year, and they got that home playoff game in the divisional round, and they got smacked by Washington, and they fell off this year. So there is the potential to spiral as well. The roster's great. The coach is really good. Hopefully they keep it together and they stay solid. But you just never know. That's a crushing loss, man. That's not just a loss. That's a crusher.
Yep. Definitely has an effect on the team overall.
Very interesting to see how, obviously the season is not finished yet. We still have 2 more weeks of playoffs and then into the Super Bowl. But it's always fascinating to see how teams are shaping up for seasons ahead after making playoff runs. And one other storyline to keep an eye on, obviously the 49ers beating the defending Super Bowl champions over the weekend as well. And a couple of things I want to kind of talk about here, but in the 49ers and the Eagles game. 49ers obviously advancing to the divisional round where they will face their old foes, the Seattle Seahawks, for the 3rd time this season. Series is split 1-1 at this point. Philly's offense really, really bad. Jalen Hurts didn't have a great performance. Christian McCaffrey and co there in the Brock Purdy, I'm having a hard time getting my words out here, but what I'm trying to say is that Brock Purdy and the 49ers offense completely outplayed the Eagles offense and even got past that vaunted Eagles defense, even while losing one of their top receivers in George Kittle in the process, who they are going to miss dearly come the next couple of games.
Look at it this way. The 49ers are in the divisional round despite the injuries. And there have been a lot of injuries this season. So that's a testament to the team, that the whole next man up spirit for that team to come in to Philly, to the defending champions, to punch them in the mouth, to lose a cornerstone of their offense in that game early on, and to go, you know what, we're just going to keep going. And we're going to roll with that punch, and we're going to keep going. I can drag off you, and you're Apollo Creed. We're going to kill you in the ring. And they literally done that. The Eagles tried to put the game on the shoulders of Jalen Hurts the way they've done previously in the season. It doesn't work. I don't know what it is about him. He struggles when he has to carry the weight of that team. And I don't know
help
what
that
it
AJ
is.
Brown had a couple of massive misses as well, and Nick
AJ
Sirianni
Brown
let him
couldn't
know
catch
all
a
about it.
cold. Exactly like DK Metcalf. AJ Brown couldn't catch a cold. He needs to get out of Philly. He's toxic in the locker room. He's probably not going to be there in the offseason. But I'm going to defer to the experienced professional quarterback on this podcast, Connor. Jalen Hurts. Is there anything wrong with him, do you think, from a mechanics or a play style or even a mentality aspect?
Or even a leadership style, I mean.
Connor's crystal ball. This is the corner. This is
Connor's
the
crystal ball. New segment on the podcast.
I don't think you can sit there and say that there's something badly wrong with a quarterback that is 10 months removed from winning a Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts has played at a very high level for a number of years, and he's very good at what he does. What I'll say is that I didn't see as much RPO out of Philly this season than in seasons past. And that's what this offense has been predicated on. It's what Jalen Hurts is very good at. And he can pull that ball himself and run. He's a very strong physical runner. So he played the quarterback's strengths, and it didn't feel like they were doing that. Conditions weren't great yesterday either. The day before in Philly, it was very, very windy. Brock Purdy didn't have a particularly good game. He threw 2 interceptions. Jawan Jennings was the highest rated quarterback actually on Sunday, and albeit one pass, but one huge play. And it felt like San Francisco kind of emptied their bag of tricks. So to answer your question, is there something?
They had to without Kittle. I mean,
they did.
From the first play, that strike down the middle for I don't know how, I think it must have been 51 or 52 yards. The first passing play went for. That kind of set the tone for me, because it was like, okay, after getting stuffed by Seattle in the last game of the regular season, there was some questions about Brock Purdy and the offense, and I think they answered those questions, and they said, okay, they laid down the marker and said, we're not afraid of Zach Bond and co. We're gonna throw all over you.
But I think San Francisco have probably reached their limit, and it's a fantastic win, but they scored 3 points with more guys healthy against Seattle just 2 weeks removed. I just think the Seattle defense is too good. I don't even think Sam Darnold has to play particularly well. He's just to manage the game, and they'll coast it, honestly. And it's still a really successful season for San Francisco. I just don't see them going into Seattle and playing well against that vaunted defense. To get back to Jalen Hurts, no, I don't think he's fundamentally flawed. Philadelphia could be up 21-0. They have a bad drive. He's getting booed off the field. It's a very tough place to play quarterback. So the narrative will be that he didn't get it done. They haven't been getting it done all year. They weren't as good as the team last year, and teams rarely run it back. So that's the long and the short of it. Jalen Hurts will be the starting quarterback for Philadelphia next year, and there'll be no questions asked.
49ers Seahawks kicking off at 1 a.m. Irish time on Sunday morning, January 18th. And that is probably one of the best games on the schedule this weekend in terms of playoffs. One of the most entertaining games, one of the most fascinating matchups to see what happens there. We're going to get into to previewing the divisional round in just a few minutes. But before that, it would be highly remiss of us if we did not discuss the maniacal, is the only word I can use to describe, coaching carousel that has been going on over the past couple of days. Big names falling like dominoes. John Harbaugh booted out of Baltimore after 18 seasons, I think.
18,
Mike McDaniel gone from the Dolphins. I expected that to a certain extent. John
you had
Harbaugh,
that tweet ready for months.
sitting there waiting to go. I had that ready after the Madrid game, to be honest with you. If they lost in Madrid to the Commanders, McDaniel was being left in the airport. There was no way he was being flown back to Miami. So like that one was ready to go. I had that in the chamber. John Harbaugh, though, I mean, twist. It was just time for a change, I think, in Baltimore. They hadn't been performing at the required level. They had the loss to Pittsburgh. They failed to reach the playoffs. Lamar Jackson not really reaching his potential perhaps this season. Obviously, and yet they had a good run towards the end. When he came back, they could have made the playoffs. They were on course if they had beaten Pittsburgh to make the playoffs. So it was just a bit of a strange one, I think, for me, that Harbaugh was let go.
44-yarder, Jimmy. 44-yard kick.
Tyler Loop, You live and die by your kicker's left boot.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like, coulda, woulda, shoulda. I know, like, coulda, woulda, shoulda, for every team that didn't make the playoffs. But I don't think it was weird. I think John Harbaugh had been quietly a boiled frog, like, sitting in the water, it's getting hotter and hotter throughout the whole season. And when it gets to 18 seasons, John Harbaugh, and you haven't really made the playoffs with a generational talent like Lamar. You haven't even sniffed close to the Super Bowl, not even made an appearance. Like, if you had made an appearance once or twice and lost, you're like, okay, we can get there again. We just need one more good season. He may still be there, but it's not strange for me, like, to see them like pull the reset button. Basically, the whole AFC North pulled the reset button, except for
the Bengals.
I was surprised. I was surprised because we expected Zach Taylor to go. He didn't. Stefanski's gone. Tomlin was probably gone. So I was surprised they pulled the plug, because I would have wanted consistency going into next year in Baltimore. They had 160 million of salary cap, or not available for half the season, or something ludicrous. Lamar Jackson out for a big chunk of the season too. And then they were within a 44-yard kick of going to the playoffs. And they give Houston a better game. I still think Houston would have beaten them, but they give Houston a better game than Pittsburgh gave them. So, I mean, we were celebrating here last week that Pittsburgh managed to get over the line, not because we wanted Pittsburgh in, just because we thought it was an easier draw for Houston. So pretty unlucky for Harbaugh. Maybe he wanted it anyway. Who knows? But pretty rough deal.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting, as I said in our WhatsApp group, it's going to be a dogfight between the Browns, the Steelers, and the Ravens to get a new head coach. I've already seen the memes floating around. Harbaugh goes to the Browns or the Steelers. Tomlin, I've seen the rumors he's going to Miami, or he might go to Cleveland, or he might go to Ravens.
It's all rumors though at this stage. He can go anywhere. He could get paid a hell of a lot more money to be an analyst on any network than coaching the NFL.
Fox Sports has already reached out to him because they need someone for the Super Bowl coverage.
I would love if Mike Tomlin went on TV for a season, or just did something out of pocket, because I think he has the personality, he has the aura, he has the pedigree and the know-how and the knowledge. I think he'd be a fascinating and fantastic TV analyst.
John Payton did it, got straight into a head coaching gig right after it in Denver. Bill Belichick did it, got back into the college game. So just because you go on TV doesn't mean you're out of the coaching for too long. So yeah, he should go live life.
Transfer back and forth. For the Steelers, I would like to see them give a shot to Brian Flores as head coach, or Marcus Freeman. If
Marcus Freeman staying put in Notre Dame for at least one more season. He wants a national title. He wants to run it back. They and we won't get into this too much because this is not a college football podcast. But and I'm slightly biased as a Notre Dame fan. But the Irish were robbed from the playoffs despite the rocky start. They should have been in. You look at all the group of 5 teams that got smashed in the first round.
Yeah,
had no business being in there, but for the way that it works out by the rankings and winners of the non-power 4 conference. But I think Marcus Freeman stays put for one more season and wins a national championship.
After 19 seasons, Tomlin's gone. He got us our 6th Super Bowl. Now, like, he did get our 6th Super Bowl, arguably with Bill Carroll's roster, but he still got us there.
Doesn't have a head coaching tree or any sort of coaching tree.
Yeah, I think it is. Super Bowl, multiple 8 division titles. Now, the tail end wasn't great, but I think it was a successful tenure. First team to get 6 Super Bowls, multiple division titles. Draft picks, the later on drafts weren't great, like taking a punt on Kenny Pickett so early. Like, we should have been a 4th round rather than a 1st. But I think it was successful. Like, he's got a record that will probably never be beaten, like 19 seasons on, like, without a losing record. He also has another record that probably won't be beaten, 5 consecutive playoff losses at double-digit points. But he also the youngest head coach to win the Super Bowl. So he's got a lot of accolades. I think it was a successful tenure. We're now looking for our 4th coach since 1969. So we've gone from Chuck Noll to Bill Cowher to Mike Tomlin to maybe Brian Flores. Maybe Pete Carroll, since the Raiders dumped him after 1 year. Maybe Marcus Freeman. You say no, but maybe if Art Rooney goes, hey, listen, we're going to give you the keys to one of the most storied franchises.
Hey, look, I'd love it. I mean, I love Marcus Freeman.
Do you say no to that for the slim chance of winning a natty? Like,
I love Marcus Freeman. I think he'd be a fantastic NFL head coach. I'd still be happy. He'd still be coaching my team. So
look at it this way: the slim chance of winning a national title, or the keys to the kingdom of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah,
because the head coach for the Steelers gets the keys to the kingdom. Mike Tomlin was full on in control of every draft. Like, It was no GM. GMs had says, but it was the Mike Tomlin show the whole time. So be interesting. It's going to be interesting off season for a lot of teams. Matt Ryan's back. He's the president of football for Atlanta Falcons. That's a big hire that doesn't get mentioned enough.
It seems like there's been a lot of change across the board in the NFL. Just teams completely cleaned in house. I mean, you saw the Chargers fire Greg Roman there.
Yeah.
The Eagles demoting their offensive play caller, offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo. It'd be interesting to see how his role develops there or continues on there. But like, it's just so. I mean, and like just kind of knee-jerk reactions in a lot of situations as well, which you don't love to see sometimes.
Yep, the coaching carousel in the off season is going to be a lot of fun.
This is the craziest coaching carousel we've seen in a while.
Yeah,
in a long time.
That's the off season. We still have the divisional round.
We do. Thank you, Twist, for keeping us on track there as we went on a tangent as we tend to do. Before we finish up the show, let's look ahead to the divisional round. Broncos versus Bills, Saturday at 9:30 Irish time, followed by Seahawks 49ers, as I mentioned before. Then on Sunday, Patriots, Texans, and Bears and Rams at 11:30 Irish time to round things out. Broncos, Bills, two absolute gunslingers in Josh Allen and Bo Nix going head-to-head. The Broncos have been winning by the skin of their teeth all season long, haven't really had that much of a test, and they're going to run into the Bills, who are, as we said earlier in the podcast, they are in win-now mode. It's win or die. It's all on the table. And I think after seeing the gutsy win that the Bills had over the Jaguars over the weekend, Connor, this has to be Josh Allen and the Bills all day, right? Their motivation has never been higher. They're in the zone right now. The window is closing. They're battle tested. They're battle hardened. Josh Allen will walk through fire for this team at the minute. It seems your money's on Buffalo winning this one.
It is indeed. Give me Buffalo, more motivated. And Denver one and done. I still see that happening, so I'll take Buffalo.
Yeah, I think Buffalo have to win this. Buffalo are going to win this, and Buffalo are going to win this convincingly. I said it weeks ago, the Broncos are the biggest fraudulent multi-win team since the undefeated Steelers, like the undefeated Steelers season of 2020. They're 14 wins. I think a lot of that's fraudulent. Skin of their teeth is not going to do it as the one seed in the AFC. Bills are going to go in to Mile High, and I'm sorry, but the one seed is getting bounced, one and done.
What are the keys to this game? I mean, for the Broncos and the Bills, Connor. I mean, what do you see as the most important things for them to kind of get in early? Is it scoring? Is it stopping for the Broncos? Is it scoring? Is it Bo Nix getting connections with Cortland Sutton and getting the offense going early on? And for the Bills, is it about keeping Josh Allen upright and healthy and making sure he gets through the game and keeping all the pieces intact for a potential AFC Championship game the following week?
I mean, the Broncos have been the AFC version of Chicago this year. They've been the comeback team, and I don't think that's going to work. So they need to have 4 solid quarters of football, complementary football. How do you slow down Josh Allen? You rush him. You get to him fast. The thing with Josh is he stands in there and takes massive hits, man. He really isn't affected too much by the physical element of the game. You got to try and slow down that Buffalo offense for sure. It's a good defense in Denver. It'll be close. It'll be close, but I'll take Buffalo.
Yeah, I think you got to shut down Cook and Cooks as well as Allen.
Brandon Cooks actually had a big game against the Jaguars. He was one of Josh Allen's primary targets, especially with Gabe Davis now being out for the rest of the postseason, most likely with a knee injury.
The biggest problem for me is the one seed getting the week off. That week off can work in your favor if you've got guys banged up, but it can also work against you because you could get complacent. You could be like, we're the one seed, week off. It's only Buffalo coming in. It's our house. It's Mile High. They're not going to come in and beat us. The ego could get too big. So the week off could work against, the Broncos. I'm pretty sure they rested their starters in week 18. So technically it's 2 weeks off, and you can practice as much as you want in those 2 or 3 weeks, but 2 weeks off of actual competitive football, and you have a Bills team with everything to prove rolling into town. Sorry, Denver, you're one and done.
What about Seahawks 49ers then? Because the series is tied at 1-1 on the season,
Yes.
and we've seen various different versions of the offense for the 49ers have varying levels of success against the Seahawks defense. And as Connor alluded to earlier, the Seahawks can kind of put all the asks on their defense to shut down Brock Purdy, CMC, and the weapons they have there. I mean, Robert Tonjes has been known to step up in Kittle's absence. He's a good weapon there. Juwan Jennings had a big game as well, obviously, against the Eagles. I think at this stage, I mean, you look at the Seahawks have precedent for getting and winning to the Super Bowl when they are the number one seed. And my money's on the Seahawks here, Connor. What do you reckon?
There's only so many band-aids you can put over the 49ers and they keep going. I just think this is the end of the road for them. I think the Seattle defense is too good. I'm not even going to bring the Sam Darnold narrative into this. Not necessary. I just think that defense is going to stifle them like they did a few weeks ago. And this will be a routine win for Seattle in terms of it, as routine as a divisional round win could be.
Yeah, I think as Connor mentioned earlier, like the 49ers are too hurt, too banged up to really go blow for blow with this Seahawks team. And yeah, the Seahawks, same situation where they're the number one seed. They had that time off like the Broncos. The difference is the Seahawks are a much better team than the Broncos. So you give the Seahawks
much better quarterback and much more experience.
So you give them like a week or two just to rest and like get healthy, like get their charisma, their swagger, everything get going in those practices. Let Sam Darnold just ball out in practices, let him build up that confidence, going in against this team. I know Connor said like Sam only has to really just manage the game to win it, but I would like to see Sam go out and just blow this 49 team out of the water, really put a statement going, whoever's coming to Seattle for this championship game, they're going to have to literally kill us to get to the Super Bowl. I think the defense alone will do that to the 49ers, but yeah, this is going to be Seahawks all the way.
Wrapping things up then on Sunday, we had the Patriots and Texans. Patriots offense only put up, I think it was 16 points against the Chargers in the wildcard round. Drake May is also known to be inconsistent, but he does make up for it with the talent, his arm talent, his game management, his just kind of general star quality, you think, and he is. I mean, it's between himself and Matt Stafford for the MVP race, which will be announced at NFL Honors during Super Bowl week, and hopefully, if credentials are approved, Gaelic Gridiron will be on the red carpet chatting to all the stars. So, look, stingy Texans defense are going to cause massive problems in both the run game, and look, the Patriots have two very talented running backs, Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson, who they have been relying on to take some pressure off of Drake May this season. But this is going to be an absolute dogfight, Connor.
Dogfight. I don't see the Patriots winning the Super Bowl. The question is...
Not this year. Not
this year. The question is, do they get bounced now? Do they get through one more? Do they make it to the Super Bowl and lose it? I just think defense wins championships. I think this is Houston's best shot in a long, long, long time. And that defense, they believe their own hype. They believe it. And they're feeding off it. I'll go Houston.
Yeah, I gotta go with the Texans as well. I'm a big staunch believer of defense wins championships. You have the number one defense against Drake May, who took an entire quarter to get his team into field goal range against the Chargers defense. So when you're going up against the number one defense that literally flies around that field,
Swarms
you have two defensive ends who will make your day like the worst day possible for a quarterback. Like that Texans defense is going to ruin Drake May's
life
Sunday. I mean, I'm sorry, Patriots fans. Yeah, Drake May be the second coming of Tom Brady, but he's not there yet. He needs more time to cook, and it's not this year. This is going to be a learning experience.
It's their first playoff appearance since Brady left and went to Tampa Bay.
Yep, this is going to be his learning experience. He's going to get bounced in the divisional by a red-hot Texans defense. He's going to learn from it. And like I said, if the Bills don't win the Super Bowl, he's going to come back next season and make Josh Allen's life a living hell and make sure they don't win the Super Bowl ever again. But Texans all the way for this one.
Our good friend
Then
Matt Jones,
finally-
who may well go to Pittsburgh next year. He actually had the Patriots in there once, but they got bounced heavy up in Buffalo.
I take it back.
But it was
I
a
take it back.
tough loss up in Buffalo. I think a 30 or 40 point loss or something. So, not to be remembered.
There you go. Bears Rams wrapping things up then on Sunday night at 11:30 Irish time. This for me is the standout fixture of the weekend. You have potential MVP winner Matt Stafford and his red hot offense. Puka Nacua playing out of his mind this season, more than likely to be crowned Offensive Player of the Year in a few weeks' time. And then you have the Chicago Bears coming in after a slow start against the Packers, but coming back to win. Both teams need to get out to a fast start, get into a rhythm early on offense, get the big plays going, find their big players. And I think it's going to be a case in this one of whoever has the ball last is going to win, Twist.
I think Connor was right earlier. Caleb Williams and the Bears need to come out and they need to put up at least one score within the first 3 drives max. They need to get points on the board as early as possible, because if Matt Stafford comes out and does Matt Stafford things and does not make any mistakes the way he's done for most of the season, this Rams team can buzzsaw through the Bears. Now, flip that on the other side. If Matt Stafford has one of those off days where he's throwing pick sixes, he's not focused, he's finding it a bit difficult to get in rhythm in the game, this could be down to the wire and will come down to whoever has the ball last wins. It could even be a dreaded having Bears fans holding their hat and hoping that they don't get a double doink elimination on a missed field goal the way they have previously in their history. This one is too close to call. So as much as I like the red hot Rams and their offense, and Matt Stafford is the clear MVP in terms of quarterback, Drake May's not even close. I want the Bears to win. So I'm going to give it to the Bears.
Connor, your thoughts?
Regardless of who I want to win, I think the LA Rams will win. I just think they're the slightly better football team. I think they had a bit of a scare in Carolina. I think they'll come to play. And I think the Chicago Bears comeback ride will run out. I will go with the better football team in the LA Rams to progress.
Well, there you have it. 4 fantastic divisional round games coming your way this weekend. And we will be back, as always, on the Monday to recap and look ahead to the NFC Championship game. And also break down, hopefully no more bombshells hit between now and then, because I cannot keep up. It's always when you're in the middle of dinner or doing something that a massive bit of news comes out from the NFL and you have to drop everything to get on top of it. So let's hope
push notifications for every beat writer for every team on Twitter on my phone, so I get the news the instant it gets tweeted.
Yeah, phone absolutely hopping from when everyone talking about Mike Tomlin.
Today it's been on fire. The battery's almost dead.
Just a reminder again that Gaelic Gridiron will be live and on location from San Francisco and Santa Clara in California during Super Bowl week. So make sure you are tuned in for all of the content. We're going to be live, up close and personal with all the big stars there. It's going to be fantastic. We might even have more than just myself over there. So make sure you keep an eye on our social media. Twist and Connor, you are 2 separate people. Thank you very much again for your time. Always a pleasure to talk ball with you boys. Make sure if you are listening and watching to check out our sponsors again, Print My Pint over on their website and book them. Get them booked for your big event this year. Lads, always a pleasure, and I will talk to you soon.